Hi, it's Win, and welcome to another educational video by the Entropy System. When we launched our channel a year ago, we were a lot different, and our system has gone through a lot of changes since then. Mistletoe has integrated, Jessica Mann has become a part of our system, Todd and Kim Kim both emerged from the back, and we each as individuals have developed a lot. In just the last month, though, there have been so many changes that I think it rivals the whole rest of the year. And so I'm making a video solely to give you an update on what's going on in our life with this system. And I suppose I'll just go in chronological order of the big changes. Firstly, we have an update with our situation with Dr. Jessica Mann, who, for those of you who don't know, is the alter in our system who didn't know she was a part of a system and thought she was actually the system psychologist in her own body. And some of you probably just picked up on the fact that I said she thought she wasn't a part of a system. She has apparently started to understand that she is in a system with the rest of us. I don't have a ton of information on her process on that, but I do know that she left a video for Kit explaining that she knows, that was Jessica's words, she goes, just let Kit know that I know. And that she's not ready to take on an active role in the system because she needs to process her former idea of what her reality was versus her understanding of what reality is now, and that she will pursue communication with us when she is ready. So via her request, we are giving her as much space and time as she needs, and we are here happily willing to embrace her with open arms as soon as she feels that that embrace will be a safe one. As you can imagine, hearing that was really encouraging for us in the system, and it felt like we were achieving a higher level of balance and cooperation as a unit. The very next day, though, any thoughts that we might be reaching a higher level of balance were shattered. As you guys know, we launched the idea of System Pride Day to be celebrated on our birthday, which ended up being a terribly triggering day for a large group of individuals. And so we did end up switching the day from our birthday to February 23rd, which is going to be exciting because that means everybody knows about it beforehand and can plan what they want to do and share their celebrations. So I do look forward to sharing System Pride Day 2.0 with you guys in February, but the way that this was brought to our attention, that this was not a good date, was by a small, select group of individuals publicly saying some not great things about us, suggesting willful ignorance or not caring about the community, trying to act on our own without communicating with others in our community or without caring what they would think. And those accusations were more than hurtful. Unfortunately, it didn't just stay there. That escalated to a large amount of hate being sent to us on all of our social media accounts, so much that we've actually pulled out of Tumblr and Twitter for a time just to let things settle down. And, you know, obviously these three individuals are not representative of any larger group of individuals who have DID, and we understand that, and that's why we made the apology video that we made, but the damage those individuals did stuck. Even after we moved the date, the hurt remained, and the stress remained, and even though we were trying to delegate things as best we could, it seems that we weren't doing it well enough, because the Wednesday, the day after Jessica Mann left her video, we split twice in one night while I was at work. And I felt awful. I ended up leaving work early, leaving my coworker there alone, which I felt awful about, and I have no idea what my behavior must have looked like to him from the outside, but we now have two new members of our system, and to me, growing system numbers are always scary because that means that the balance that we've worked so hard to achieve has to be reset, and we have to compensate and include these new members. While I know that these thoughts are selfish, the identity of these new members was very troubling to me at first also, namely because they are fictives. And not only are they fictives, but they're fictives of very, very popular characters. So in our system, we now have Edward Nygma and Oswald Cobblepot, better known as the Riddler and the Penguin from the Batman universe. Appearance-wise, they take on the faces of the characters from Gotham rather than the characters from the comics or the animated TV show. Oz basically is the Oz from Gotham, but Ed is definitely a combination of a lot of versions of the Riddler that I have adored throughout the years. He is not strictly the Gotham TV show Ed. Obviously, their identity does not devalue them in any way or make them less legitimate or the system less legitimate, but in the stress of the moment, all I could think was, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. Now of all things, I have Batman villains in my head. And that is not the only change that that night bring. With Ed and Oz appearing in the system at the same time, the entire inner world changed drastically. We basically got sent to an alternate universe. The island is gone. We no longer live on an island. We live in a city. We live in a bustling city. We all share a fancy high-rise apartment building, and we each have our own apartments. Well, we each have different apartments. Some people live together, like Todd and Daniel live together, just like they did on the island. Kit and Kim and the Littles, other than Todd, live together. Jonathan and Jacob live together. But you know, the point is we all kind of have our own homes. And there are a bunch of what we call what is called NPCs, or non-playable characters, that populate this city. So they're basically like movie extras that are not part of the system. They're not alters. They're not actually connected to us in any way, but we can sort of interact with them and wander among them as we would a regular city population. So, you know, we can go out to eat or go see a play or just wander the streets and people watch. Ed, when he came to be, apparently was given a lot of power over the inner world, and he immediately knew everything about us. He knew everything about the inner world, about the system, and jumped on board to try to help us as much as he possibly could, which, thank you, Ed. And he thought that us living in isolation and only feeling safe in the isolation of the island was counterproductive, because we needed to know how to hold our ground around other people also. Hence, we are now surrounded by non-playable characters all the time. He designed the whole city. He designed the homes for everyone. He gave Jessica Mann her own house out on the outskirts of the city. She's got a house that looks a lot like the house that she pictured herself having. And it's just nice and sunny and green where she is, where in the center of the city, at least from what I understand, it's almost never daytime. It's usually dusk or nighttime, because that's when the cities are most bustling. I've never seen it be daytime, but I'm still learning a lot about the inner world, so I could be incorrect there. Another big change, I have access to the inner world now. When Ed was designing everything for everyone, he set aside a room for me that was just kind of bare, minimally decorated, because he didn't know what I liked, because I didn't have a house of my own on the island. So he just told me, this is your space. You just let me know what you want your room to look like, and Oz and I will make that happen for you. And he kind of taught me how to be present in the inner world, how to sort of ground myself and make it feel very real for me. And now it's not real in the way that, I don't know, this world is real. Like, they're very distinctly different. It's the same way that I can hear my headmates' voices very real and distinctly, but it's not the same as if, say, my husband were sitting here talking to me. It's a real from the inside, not like a delusion that it is something on the outside. So there is, I don't know how to explain it better than that at the moment, but I have my own room, and when I go inside, when I'm not fronting, I'm in that room, and I'm not in a dark place. People know where I am. They can come and get me. They can talk to me. I haven't wandered around the city yet because I don't feel comfortable like staying grounded in the inner world. It's still very weird for me, still very new, but I'm sure I will get there soon. And even just having a small space that is mine, not disappearing into the ether, and it makes me feel more connected to my headmates. A couple days later, Josh announced that he was going to integrate. I came home from school and he kind of pushed his way to the front and went to Andrew and explained that his bad memories, the trauma memories that he was carrying, were no longer holding him down, and he didn't feel the need to stay anymore because he wasn't being held down by that pain. He didn't feel afraid anymore. He didn't feel like he needed to hide, and he wanted to integrate. That to him was a very special moving on moment. And we're all very happy for him. He said goodbye to Andrew. He wrote a goodbye letter for all of us. But it was also dreadfully, dreadfully sad not having his presence there the next morning. And it was different levels of sad for all of us. I kind of reached back to see how everyone was doing, and I was initially very scared because I reached back and everything felt empty. And I was like, oh no, was there like a mass integration? Can that happen? But I could contact Kim. And basically what she told me was that everyone was mourning. And in that state of mourning, they all just kind of pushed themselves in the back of the headspace and didn't want to be bothered. Kim didn't know Josh very well, so she didn't go back. She was able to explain that situation to me. The integration was the absolute hardest on Kit. And she is still sort of processing that and grieving for Josh. Because he came to be at the very end of the body's 3rd year, and Kit came in at the very beginning of the body's 4th year. So they were born very close to the same time, and other than them, it was just Jonathan and myself, and Jonathan and myself really didn't have anything to do with Josh or Kit, and so it was just them. For years, Josh and Kit were each other's only companions, and the bond that they created at that time never broke. And even though Kit aged and Josh didn't, they remained exceptionally close. And so not having him around in a way that is familiar to Kit was really, really painful for her. It felt like she had lost her lifetime best friend. But of course, Josh is not gone. He has simply integrated, and he chose to integrate with Karen. Karen was our 5-year-old alter. Kind of her defining trait was her constant level of fear. There was always a level of fear with her. And Josh was hoping that by integrating with her, since he now felt fearless, that would help her adjust and feel more comfortable in life. It seems to have worked. Karen aged. She is now 9 years old. Josh could age slide between 3 and 10, and now that he's combined with Karen jumped from age 5 to age 9. Her appearance also changed. She now has sort of short hair with long bits. It's black in the center with blonde at the tips because she had black hair. Josh had blonde hair, and that's sort of how that manifested. She still has her overalls and her red t-shirt and her chucks. The first night that she came out to play was a night that Kit and Kim and I were all stressed and sad because of all of these developments and how overwhelming it all felt. And even though we were very, very gloomy and down and angry, Karen came out and she was happy and so relaxed and just sat and played at the table and told Andrew about her new life in the city and her new appearance and her feelings about all of it, and drew a picture of herself, which I'll share right here. And she seems to be doing really, really great, which is very encouraging for me. But that makes our number now 13, with the addition of the 2 and the merging of the one. So it's been a lot. It's been a lot. And Ed and Oz, I'm going to ask them to do an intro video so you'll get to know them. And in the meantime, we'll just be keeping on and working on this whole balance thing and keeping you updated as we're on this ride. Thank you guys all for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys are interested in becoming patrons and supporting the channel, a link to our Patreon is in the description below. If you're interested in sending us fan mail of any kind, our P.O. box address is also in the description below. And all you entropical fish out there, I hope you have a super great day. Bye!